Down to our backs. Start to get our bodies settled down. The things opening up. Make sure you're set up in a place that feels kind of open and receptive. And begin to let some good, really full, deep breaths flow through our body. So keep this breath flowing. This is what starts to energize us, what starts to prepare us for good things to come. As we're breathing, we'll take just a moment to connect with our intention for today. This is the idea of allowing some various circuitry in our body to start to connect. So sometimes, if you've ever seen a meridian map, sometimes the circuitry that some of the ancients have discovered in our body wouldn't be something you would necessarily think of with Western medicine. Like you wouldn't think liver and eye would connect. Like those seem so different from one another. Their processes are totally different. But yet the liver meridian ends at the eye. And if you think about it, jaundice, the way that you discover that is going on in the liver is by looking at their eyes. And so sometimes there's these different connections that you wouldn't necessarily think of. So what we'll be doing today as we work through various parts of our body is just trying to imagine that we're helping the circuitry become a little bit more complete. If there's parts of us that maybe feel like they haven't really been flowing very good, they've been kind of stuck through that meridian or that channel or that circuit, imagine today we're helping to connect it just a little bit better. And that'll be the image that leads us on. And so with that, to get us started, the thing I'd like to do to start us off is take a moment to rub the hands together, create warmth, create heat, create friction. And choose a spot on your body that feels like maybe it's one of those spots where the circuit is maybe not connected very well. Just kind of hover it over it. So maybe it's over heart, maybe it's over belly, eyes, throat. There's lots of places you can choose, even a joint and having some issues. Just kind of hover your hands over that spot for a little while, just a couple of good breaths. Imagine this is the first thing we're doing just to kind of help to supercharge that circuit. Just a couple of those beautiful breath cycles. One more beautiful inhale. Exhale. So let's start off a little bit more movement. Let's start to take knees into the chest. And we can begin to rock around a little bit. So start to take both hands around your right knee. Pull that right knee in nice and tight. And then your left leg is going to go clear up to the sky. We're going to point and flex the foot. And then lower the foot all the way down to hover above the ground. Once you're there hovering, point and flex. Bring the foot right back up above us, point and flex. And lower the leg down to hover above the ground, point and flex. And let's take 3 more rounds on this side. 2. Last 1 to each. And as you take that lower position, just drop the heel to the ground. Continue to hug this right knee in a little bit tighter. Then start to let this knee cross over the body, taking a first twist for our spine. Just feel what areas are feeling or speaking to you. Maybe shoulder, or maybe it's a little bit lower back. So little by little, as we kind of touch upon different things, I'll start to connect with different methods to madness for helping us connect circuits all over the body. The first thing, that flexing and pointing of the foot, the feet and the hands have several different meridians that end and begin there. And so that idea of pointing and flexing is to help that part of the meridian stay open. Because sometimes we clench those areas without even realizing it. Like our hands will be just clenched up in fists, and there's no reason. We're not going to punch somebody. And that's just where our tension is held. That does actually block off those meridians. So that's one of the methods behind the madness here. Focusing a little bit on the hands and a little bit on the feet today. Good. So we'll start to take the second side. So return the hips back down. Switch the legs. So now we're hugging around left knee. Pull it in for a moment. And when we start to send the right leg up to the sky, do that same thing. Point flex. Lower it above the ground. Point flex. Start back and forth a few nice slow rounds. Take another 3. 2. 1. Last one for the bottom. When we get there, point flex and release down. Cross this knee over the body. And then open left arm to left. So now take a moment to feel how this left half is communicating with us. Is it the same story, or is it very different? The circuitry going on in the first half. Let's imagine that through the class today, through the effort, through the breathing, through the motion, circulation, we're able to bring left and right halves just a little bit more balance. Another beautiful inhale. Exhale. And lifting that knee back up, at the feet close to the glutes. And working back into the feet, we're going to use bridge pose. We're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time. At the high spot, lift the heels up and drop them down softly. And then roll the spine back down. We'll do a couple of rounds of bridge pose like that. Bring the heels up at the top. Up. We don't just slam the heels down. Going slowly helps to build a little bit more of that calf strength than just kind of going through the motions. Good. So hips, heels, and heels roll all the way down to the hips. Good. If you're doing okay, take 3 more. That last one, lift lower, it's all the way back down to rest. No rush if you're still on the other part of the cycle, that's okay, but when you rest back down, take the knees over the hips, spread the arms out to each side, left and right, and start to try to glue the thighs and the knees together as much as possible. So from here, what we'll do is tilt the knees partway to one side. So if we're going to the left, the right leg will then straighten and bend. Go back through the center. And when we take it to the second side, say we're going to the right, it'll be the left leg that straightens and moves. So it's opposite of what we're doing. Go to the right, we straighten left. If we're going to the left, we straighten right. So as we're doing a few good rounds of this, the method behind the madness here is cross lateral action. So crossing the body, crossing the midline to do actions. This is really healthy for the brain. The brain has this tendency, even though the brain switches, the right half of the brain controls the left half of the body, the left half of the brain controls the right half, the brain has this tendency to like just working on that one half. But when we cross the knees over, now the left half of the brain is having to think of being on that right half and vice versa. So some of the things that we'll do today will include this type of action, crossing, making the brain have to create new circuits to go across the midline. Good, so if you're still doing okay, let's do 2 more to each side. Keep the breath flowing the whole time. Good. When you finish that last one, we'll take a cobbler's pose with the legs so the knees will fall open, bottoms of feet touching. And just feel how restful that is for the hips and the feet after those last 2 things that we were doing. The muscles much more in that spot of recovery, the spot where the circuitry is no longer exhausted. Things are flowing freely and easily. So from that spot, now we're going to play with upper body and lower body doing the isolation, one thing at a time. So for the upper body, it'll be a little crunch, the arms sweep up overhead, inhale. Exhale, reach through your legs, try to crunch as much of your back off the ground as possible. And when you return down, bring the hands all the way down by the floor by the hips. Once you've got the hands resting, the second half is that the legs trying to stay as open as possible. Then try to crunch up as close to the shoulders as possible. And then roll slowly all the way back down to that rested spot. Good. So it'll take kind of a breath in between to reset, but inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, reach. And so you return down, hands flat. Next exhale, crunch the legs in. Slow roll down. Arms sweep up. Exhale the crunch. And then exhale the crunch. You're welcome to go super slow or go a little bit faster. You're doing okay. Let's take 3 more full rounds to each. When you're there, it's okay if you're going a little faster or slower. Good. Finishing that last one, let the feet plant about as wide as the mat. A few nice windshield wipers. Just easy left, right. Good. We'll continue to slide the legs again long to the base of the mat. Arms take just a moment stretching up overhead just to give that flow back a nice little breathe. from here, hands clasped together, scooping up the back of the head. We're going to take the left knee in, crossing the right elbow to that left knee. Other leg covers. And then switch sides. If you'd like to add in that aspect of flex point when the leg is long, you're welcome to do that. Getting that foot side activated and engaged again. What I like about pausing to do that flex point is it makes me have to hold it just a little bit longer. It engages those obliques so much differently than trying to just swing through momentum before. Good, so if you're doing okay, 3 more each. Two. One. And rest down, let the arms spread open. Allow legs to spread open also. We're in a big, huge figure X on the ground. This next one will be similar to the last one. It's always going to be opposites that are trying to come together. So it'll be right arm, left leg, or left arm, right leg, vice versa. The first half of it is elbow, knee. Second half of it is straight arm, straight leg. So if I'm starting with right arm, left leg, first is elbow and knee touch. I do a crunch. You can lift head off the ground or not, depending on how the neck feels. Slowly drop back down. And then up, and then straight arm, straight leg, and slowly drop back down. Good. And then elbow, knee, and straight arm, straight leg. Now, one more thing to play with, since we kind of have the pattern. Once you've done the crunch, either way, see if hand and foot can try to touch the ground at the same time. So this is another one of those left-right things. Kind of hard because one side tends to be our preferred side. So just notice how close you can get it. Even if it's always a little bit off, that's okay. Just see if you can have a tendency to get closer and closer. Not only strengthening body, but also strengthening those circuits of the brain. This one takes a little longer to do 3 sets, but let's do 3 more sets to each. Eventually we're heading to 2. And 1. When you drop out of that last one, just relax. Taking it to the shoulder, the right straight arm crosses over the body, the left arm flips around to pull it in. Set up that right shoulder to an angle that helps the stretch, so I usually push it down as far as I can. Maybe even I tilt my head over to the left. That right shoulder is opening up as kindly and as deeply as possible. Good. Arms fall back open for a moment. And then the left arm crosses over the body, hug it in. Maybe tilt the shoulder down, maybe tilt the head away. Good. When you open back up, see if both backs of hands touch the ground at the same time. Good. And let's take our right leg back up to sky. Let's hug around it. Maybe some ankle rolls. Moving back into the ankle aspect. Good. Right leg dropping down, left leg lifts up. Couple of ankle rolls on that side. Okay, so again, cross lateral action, float the right leg, and then straight leg switches, right leg up, and then left leg. Always, it's okay if you're faster or slower than me. You're doing okay. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's rock our way up to sit. Take it directly into cobbler. Just feeling yourself try to connect hips to shoulders. Imagine there's a circuitry that tries to go there. So as the head drops down and we're stretching through the back of the neck, feel how that's only possible because the hips are grounded. Maybe right ear rocks a little closer to right shoulder. Left shoulder fills back and open. And maybe head rocks down, left ear to left shoulder. Head rocks down. Take another good inhale. Exhale. And sitting up. Different people will grab this one different ways. I like to take this grip onto each of my heels. So it's like my whole palm cupping that heel. Other people will grab more like around the outside of the kind of the front side of the foot or ankle area. So whatever works for you, it's fine. We rock back to try to balance. And then our right leg will try to stretch out. And then back in. Left leg out. In. And both legs trying to go together. Out. And in. Good. Let's go 4 more rounds like that. So it'll be one leg. You could do the next one left if you ever want to switch. And second, whatever that is. And try both when you're there. Good. 3 more rounds. Choose one leg. Other. And both. It's all good. 2 more. For sure, the hardest part is both for me. Good, last one. Maybe try to stay straight just a little longer until your core muscles correct. Good. Beautiful. As we set the feet down, let yourself kind of hug around the shins and push the upper back backwards and from rounds down. Pull the stretch through that upper back. Give a couple of breaths. Okay, so from here up to boat pose. If just balancing here is plenty of effort, that is a good spot for the core. If you're doing okay here, what you'll do is inhale, the arms stick up, exhale, touch down to one side. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then hug around your right shin, left leg goes out straight, take a twist. So hug the left elbow around that right knee. The other hand is behind you, just continue to spiral open. We return forward, let this thigh fall down, open the ground, and circle up to sky. Exhale, reach, stretch over that left leg. As you rise up, the legs switch. Take the twist first. Right elbow hugging around that left knee. Beautiful. Let the thigh fall open. Simple circle up. Exhale, release forward. And as we come back up to sit, both legs are out in front of us. The bent knee version, just kind of squeezing thighs together, will be slightly easier. Straight legs will be harder. Arms are out in front of us. This one reminds me of starting a lawnmower. The right hand grabs, then the right elbow pulls back. Back return. Exhale, left hand. So I'm trying to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release over the feet. So both legs stretching together. How do those circuits feel? Sometimes the right half and left half are super different. Rising up, legs spread open. The arms are open to each side. Shoulders, remember they never hang up to here. They're relaxed. Here, inhale. Exhale, you'll twist the right pinky finger to try to saw off the left pinky toe. Inhale, right back up tall in the center. Exhale, opposites. And if you can't reach, just imagine the energy extending to that point, trying to connect that circuit. It's okay if it's shin instead, but just imagine that circuit's connected. Go 5 more each. 4. 3. 2. And 1. And hands can rest on the floor in front of you, especially let the shoulders rest down, especially after all that lifting. The hands can continue to walk forward, give them space, give them time, gradually taking our journey forward. Another inhale, exhale. Let's ease our way back up. Let's swing our legs underneath our body. And as we're here, take a nice kneeling spot. Let's do 3 or 4 cat cows. Just feel this start to try and connect the upper and lower back, as well as back muscles and belly muscles. Opposing things, that's what new circuits going on all over the face, sensations, muscles. Take 1 more round up and down. Beautiful. So then when we're back at neutral, the game that we're going to play is kind of like add-on. I'm going to start with 1 variation. And if you'd like to increase the difficulty, the next time we do it, I'll give you another version of it to practice. So that means that you could just stick with the first one the whole time, and that's perfectly fine. So first version, this will kind of be the easiest. What we do is stick the right leg back, the left arm forward. We're just balancing right here for a couple of rounds. One more inhale, exhale, lower this half. Second side, left leg, right arm. Good cross body action. Deep breaths. Inhale, exhale, lower down. Okay, so that's version 1. You don't have to go any further. Version 2, go back to the first side. So right leg, left arm. Version 2 is elbow and knee touching together underneath us. Extending out. Let's repeat 5 on this half. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop down. And second half. Your hold. Or exhale 5 and reach. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1. Good. Drop down, switch back to the other half. This version, again, you can take either of the other 2 if you're taking the next option. The arm and the leg swings out to the side. So left arm goes to left, right leg goes to right, and then return. We'll try to go for 5, but this is weird muscle, so if you only want to do 3, that's okay also, and then stay. You're doing okay. Take another 3. It's okay if it doesn't go to 90 degrees. 2, 1, and switch sides. Good. So any of the other versions are fine, or swing to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Rest down. Lift up for just a moment. Give yourself some wrist rolls. We've got one more variation. This one's the hardest of them all because it's from a plank pose. So you know that you've got variations to drop down to knees instead of going full plank, or take any of the other variations you've been playing with. So this one, from a plank pose, your goal will be to keep shoulders over wrists, and then try to lift right arm and left leg. And switch. So it'll be 5 switches total. So that was 5. It's 4. And 4. 3. I know it's funky. 3. 2. 2. 1. And 1. And everybody has earned a nice child pose. Just rest. Good work. Give those shoulders a break too. Let's walk the knees extra wide for this child pose. And then start to thread the right shoulder under that left armpit space. So good circuits opening. Start to switch sides. So now it's the left arm that threads through. Back forward, let's do our spine, just a couple of bonus breaths. Good work. So we've got one last exercise to do for each side. So this one will start off from a high lunge shape. So some people do that from down dog, some people just from kneeling, it's fine. But we'll end up with our right foot forward. We're balancing on the left toes behind us. Know that stepping the feet wider is easier than narrower. So you get to choose the spot that helps you balance. As we're up, what we're going to do is both a wrist thing and a leg thing at the same time. So the leg thing is we lower down and up. So it's both knees taking a little bit of bend and both knees straight. So that'll be the leg part of it. The arm part of it, if you need to rest for just a moment, the arm part is wrist steps. So whenever we inhale, tuck the fingers into the forearm to lift up. And then whenever we exhale, flex the fingers back to go down. So we're going to do up to 10 of those. You can choose to drop out early. That's up to you. But start with an inhale. The legs pop up, the arms come up. And then legs down, arms down. Here's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. However you want to switch. If you want to switch from up here, if you want to go through a down dog, totally up to you. Whatever helps you feel balanced to switch. Good. Take your time. Left leg ends up forward. Good. So we'll start off toward the lower side of it. Get the fingers ready to lift up and legs lift up. So inhale up. Exhale down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Stepping down. Let's come back. We'll go all the way to kneel. We just got stretches through the end of class. So let's take some nice wrist stretches for a moment. So we're at a normal kneeling spot, shoulders over wrist. Let's focus just on the right arm for a moment. Circle the fingers out to the right side, even continuing to circle the fingers all the way to the knee. You can. If this is stretching your wrist, great. This is an okay spot to stay. If your wrist needs more, start to back some of your weight backwards. You choose the end spot based on how your wrist feels. Good. Shoulders forward, softly pick the hand up. Sometimes I'll open and close before I switch. The switch will be on the right hand again. So this right hand will have the back of the hand touching down, fingers still pointing to the knee. And again, the way to make this deeper would be choosing how far back to send your hips. Good. Forward, lift up this right wrist, open and close, or sometimes it can take more circles or shaking it out, whatever feels nice for that right wrist. And we'll go on to left. So left circles through the side until fingers are pointing toward knee or as far back as possible, and then scoop back to the point where wrist is happy. Forward, softly lift up the hand, open and close. Back of the hand down, fingers toward the knee. Maybe you scoop back a little bit. When you pick it up, maybe roll the wrist, open and close, or even shake. Whatever feels good. Beautiful. Let's head to the hips. So we'll take the right leg underneath us forward into pigeon. Back knee scoots back. Before we lower, let's take a little shoulder opener. Hands plant just a little bit wider than the mat. Rotate the right shoulder to the center and drop it down. Left shoulder. Good, and then ease right down to the center. If you find that feels good, it's beautiful. Just choose. One more inhale. Exhale. Come back up to kneeling. And then I like to take huge hip circles. So hip circle clockwise, as big of a circle as I can get. Counterclockwise. Still need more, take a couple of extra wags at the top. Is the hips feel pretty good there? We can put this left leg through. Like another shoulder twist, plant the hands a little wider than that. Rotate left shoulder to the center. Right. And lower down. More slow breaths here. Switch back out through kneeling. Take another huge circle with our hips, clockwise and counterclockwise. Whenever that starts to feel good, let's come down to a seated place. We'll give our hips just one last huge think. This is kind of the center of our body, so help that part of our circuit out. So many connections there. Let's cradle up this right leg, give it a couple of good rocks. Whenever that feels happy through the hip, you choose what the hips can handle. Cross leg, shin stack, or knee stack. Whatever you get to. Feel your spine and your body just easing forward. And back to these nice slow breaths. Start to come back up. We'll switch sides, give the left a little bit of cradling action. Eventually dropping it to cross leg, shin stack, knee stack, whatever feels nice. We'll ease our way back forward. To help this circuit out, give it 2 more breaths. Ease our way out. Maybe a few nice windshield wipers for those hips and knees. If there's other poses you'd like to take, seated poses, laying down poses, this is a point to start exploring any of those last things until sooner or later you're ready to release down to the floor, your Shavasana pose. No rush to get there. And as there might be some people who get to their Shavasana before others, I'll state this now, but if you're still stretching, don't feel any sense of urgency. Before you go to Shavasana, it may feel nice to have this option. Rub hands together. Once again, creating warmth, friction, energy, heat. Then choose a spot. Maybe it's the same spot, maybe it's a new spot to fold your hands over. Like we're giving our motherboard, giving our circuitry kind of one last little boost. Depending on where the spot is, if it's an easy spot to maintain, maybe your hands just stay there the whole time. Or maybe at some point they start to drop away from that during Shavasana. So up to you entirely, take your time, no sense of rush. Just know that that is an option if you'd like to take it at any point. Begin to deepen our inhales. Exhales. Introducing little movements back to fingers and toes. Ankles and wrists. Stretching out in a way that feels good. Maybe taking a nice fetal position up to one side. Maybe 2 or 3 good rounds of breath. Until sooner or later you feel ready to rise. No rush to get. At our heart, we reconnect back to our intention. That idea of this circuitry, this internal, these connections, the electricity, the meridians, the channels, imagining they're much more open and clear than they maybe were an hour ago. And so with this, we feel more connected, one body part to another. Movement able to happen much more easily and freely. And so with this type of complete circuitry to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with a sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.